All right. Welcome to week 3 of the Small Change Challenge. How are you doing? It's fun to see you guys interacting, sharing your wins, and um, while I'm waiting for people to join, because I know it was a little late and it takes a while to find things on Facebook and all that stuff. Was going to share last night. My daughter was she was kind of messing around the table, and my husband came home and he was in a lot of pain, which makes him less patient. And so he had kind of snapped at her, and I could see. Let's see. Am I actually? No. Okay. If you. There we go. That's not where. Sorry. Distracted by the technology. I can see that you're here. If you want me to see your name, I have things popping up in my way. You have to go to chat.restream.io, I think is what it is. But whatever. So I can put the chat over there and I can see it. And I'm glad you can see me. Hey, Dee, glad you're there. So I could see that she got her feelings hurt, but when I asked her about it, she didn't want to talk about it and decided instead that she didn't want to eat her salad, which my child doesn't like vegetables unless they're raw. So she actually really likes her salad, but she decided she didn't want to eat it. And excuse me. So I followed up with her at bedtime and was like, what was going on? Oh, I just didn't want to eat it. I'm like, no, something else was going on. So first came out that she was mad at me for telling her she had to eat her salad when she was already upset, and then came out she was actually had her feelings hurt, that dad kind of snapped at her when she wasn't trying to cause a problem. It just kind of caused a problem. And so like she was actually had her feelings hurt. So then she got mad at dad and she got mad at me. And but it was safe to say she was mad at me first. It wasn't safe to say she was mad at dad, and it wasn't safe to say that her feelings were hurt to dad. And I don't know, that's something else to explore. What I wanted to share was like I talked through all of this stuff with her, and I'm trying to build the habit of like, okay, so this is what you were feeling, this is what you were thinking. She recognizes the enemy's voice. So to say, like, was he telling you anything? And so I don't know, she had something weird that he told her last night that she felt like, because a lot of times, like, he'll tell her, the same kinds of lies he tells us. You're not good enough. That's your fault. Nobody's going to like you, And so trying to keep her aware of that voice, at first she was like, I don't know what he told me. And I'm like, that's fine. As if you don't remember it, that's great. Like if you know he was talking to you and you don't remember what he said, like that's great, because that means you're not paying attention to him and you're not believing what he says. So finally got her all to bed, got through all this conversation, everything. Is past bedtime, and I'm really bad about like, it's bedtime, leave me alone. So she's stretching me in that. And so get her all tucked in, door closed, and Mom, I'll go back over there. Can I journal before I go to bed? And I'm like, what do you want to journal? Because I journal my prayers all the time. And so I'm like, what do you want to journal? Well, God told me, I think she just said that God told her something and he told her to write it down. I'm like, well, okay, how are we going to argue with that? So got her journal, and she needed to write down scare the enemy. That was what God had told her. So that was just, just kind of fun that I'm remembering to put some of these things into practice and make them work. So let's see if we can get this going. So welcome to the Small Change Challenge. Oh, that's the wrong slide. I forgot to skip that one. This week, we're talking about setting up for success. So you've picked your small change. You've been looking this week at things that could get in your way. And now this week, we're going to get set up for success and deal with those things that are in your way. And I don't really think, well, just if you're new, if you're joining this and you haven't been following along, welcome. I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited to see what God does as you consider making a small change and the power of planting something positive and watching it grow and having you believe in yourself more by the time all of this is over. My slides move slow and I keep forgetting that. So if you're new to me, I am a Christian, I'm mom, I'm an overcomer, which is why I coach, because I want to coach overcomers, coach you to overcome. That picture's me with my littlest, but I also have a 22-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 20-year-old who is expecting soon. So I'm a grandma, and I'm a coach to share the things that I've learned between the two generations, to share that with you guys. Let's see, some housekeeping. Just if you're joining us new again, or new, if you're just joining, haven't been following along, the culture of this challenge and the culture of the group really is just a place of vulnerability. It's a safe place. So there's no condemnation, there's no judging, there's no comparing, just encouraging and supporting one another. Our schedule for the challenge is every Wednesday. I'm here live, giving you kind of a foundation and a challenge for the next week. And then on Tuesdays, I'm live on Zoom where you can join me to talk through anything that you're struggling with or just inspirations you've had or whatever. I just that opportunity to connect. And then we're doing prizes. So at the end of this video, I'll do the random drawing for this week's winner. And then at the end, we're doing a grand prize for, well, I'm doing 3 grand prizes. So for the 3 most active women during the month of April, because Facebook tracks how much you post and like and comment. And so the 3 most active will get either 3 months of Small and Significant, which is a one-on-one program with me, 3 months of the Emotionally Healthy Moms Club, which is a membership where you get kind of like group coaching, group access to me every month. And then I don't remember now what is the third is some of my courses, I think. So trying to have it fun. Hope you guys are enjoying it and excited. And I'm doing the prizes because okay. Sorry. I'm distracted. So I'm doing the prizes because engaging is good for you. And I would love to hear from any of you that have seen, like, is engaging more and having other women encourage you and share perspectives, has it made a difference for you in the last 2 weeks? I firmly believe that it has, but just stop and take a minute and, if you're watching the replay, be like, yes, no, I haven't noticed, be honest. But it's a big reason that doing the prizes based on who's most active is because being engaged with positive people, hey Casey, that are on the same journey and all of that just is tremendous. We get wounded in relationships and we get healed in relationships. So having that community that can be healing is just hugely powerful. All right, so we're talking about getting set up for success. And first we're always going to start like, why hasn't it worked before? We've been trying to make these changes, to drink more water or spend more time with God or take better care of ourselves. Why hasn't it worked before? And we talked quite a bit about that last week, of preparing without counting, or deciding to change without preparing or counting the cost. Not really considering the impact. Like, we want the result, but what's the impact along the way? Like, again, with my microgreens, like, I knew I wanted to do it and I think it's a good thing, but the impact on my time is like, oh, well, now where am I going to fit in my brain dump? Like, the time that was most consistent for me to do my brain dump and plan the next day is now when I'm going out to take care of the microgreens. So like, oh, I didn't think about that. So I need to, regroup and figure out a better time to now do the brain dump, or a different time to do the microgreens, which I don't know. Tegan's got like 5 more weeks of school. And so I think we'll just leave it alone until then, and work on getting the brain dump in somewhere else. But so it makes it hard to sustain if we didn't think about the impact. Another thing is not starting small enough. Excuse me. So we can be like, well, I'm going to exercise every day and think that's a small change. But really, there's other steps. Or I think it was Becky that had shared, like, she was going to get up 10 minutes earlier. And then as the class, like, oh, well, if I'm going to get up earlier, then like getting to bed at a consistent time would make a huge difference. And so maybe that should be the small change. But then, like, there's all these things in the way of getting to bed on time, because we have kids' schedules and our schedule is different all the time because of kids' activities. And it sounds like she works on a farm. So in the spring, that's unpredictable of what needs to happen every day on a farm to keep a farm going. And so like, oh, so then there's actually all these things getting in the way of getting to bed at the same time in this season. So looking at that, and I think she decided that she was just going to do her alone time or her me time, whatever, in the evening. And it doesn't need to be at the same time. It's just in the evening before she goes to bed. Because there's less things in the way that way. So that's some of the stuff that gets in our way of just, yeah, there's like this ripple effect. And so kind of follow the ripple effect backwards, to like, that'll lead you to the starting point. Just keep following it backwards to like, oh, okay. And it might be simple. Like, if I'm going to drink more water, I need to take the water bottle with me. That might be as far back as you need to go. Or it might be like, well, I don't actually have a water bottle that doesn't leak or that doesn't sweat or whatever it is. So I need to get a new water bottle before I can even start on this small change. So kind of work it backwards to make sure that you're actually at a small change. And then what do you need to do to get ready? Do you need to buy a water bottle? Do you need to communicate with your family that you're going to be doing things different? What kind of things do you need to do to prepare if you're going to start meal planning? Do you need it's me, I need a water bottle. Yeah. So like, if you're going to start meal planning, and we can trip ourselves up in this too, of like, do I actually need to go get a new binder and new pens or recipe cards, or, wherever we go with that, before I can make a meal plan? It would probably be better to make the meal plan on scratch paper. And then if it actually works, once you actually follow through with it and see, like, oh, I don't want the recipes on recipe cards, or I don't want my recipes on Pinterest. I actually want a printed out piece of paper recipe to follow. Like, experiment with it before you say, I need all these things before I can succeed. Because that's another thing that keeps us from changing, is because we need to find it the perfect way to do it. We need to do it just right. So don't get hung up in doing it perfect. We learn best, and I was going to find statistics on this and I forgot to find them, but it's something like we learn like 400 times faster if we're playing and if we're having fun than if we're not. So if you can get yourself in a mindset of I'm experimenting, I'm trying this out, I'm just going to see what works, I'm going to have fun with this. Tremendous advantage in that. Like, I'm pretty sure it's 400 times faster. And that's why kids, like, they're just sponges. They just absorb all this stuff because they're just having fun. They're just curious about things and they're just trying it out and they just soak it all in because there's no pressure to figure it out and get it right. They're just enjoying, just experimenting. So if you can do that shift for yourself, that will make a big difference. Let's see. I don't remember what I put on my slides. So, okay, we're not ready for that one yet. So, if you've made your list of the things that are getting in your way, this week is the time to look at what can you do about each of those things. And I guess the big one I wanted to talk about is our own thoughts, and often even our underlying emotions get in our way because we have those thoughts of like, well, it hasn't worked before. I'm not going to succeed with this. Not being fully convinced that we're actually worth the effort. Those kinds of things are getting in your way too. And so being aware, like, yeah, there's the schedules and the habits and not having the tools and those kind of things. But then there's also the, do I actually deserve this? And is it actually worth it? Am I actually worth it to put in this effort? Or to ask the people around me to adjust as I do something different than I've done before. So look at those things too. Like, what are you telling yourself as you go through to make these changes this week? So, and we'll talk more about that next week, but I want you to pay attention to those thoughts and emotions this week so that you can bring them next week. But as you're going through and say you need a new water bottle, is there that little nagging voice in your head that you shouldn't waste the money on a water bottle? As you go to have time for yourself, is there that little nagging voice that you're being selfish? Those kinds of things, like, pay attention to that underlying stuff that could be getting in your way as you are preparing maybe your physical space or your calendar or whatever to make this small change. And then how will you celebrate? Again, we learn so much better if we make it fun. So how can you make it fun? How can you turn it into a game? How can you celebrate? I guess I don't have one printed out. I'm making a chart that will have 30 spots in it that you can mark off. And you can make it that if you do 30, do 30 in a row, do 30 days in a row, that you get whatever. You get to go buy a special coffee, you get to watch a certain show, you get whatever that would motivate you, that you would be excited about. And you can do it 30 days in a row, but I would more encourage you that just like, when I get this filled up, it doesn't matter how long it takes me. When I get it filled up, I get whatever the thing is, or I'm going to do whatever it is. However you're going to celebrate, and to celebrate, like marking it off. being a celebration, like, yay me, go me, I did this. And look at how you celebrate. This is another part of that in community, and why you engaged is when someone else shares, hey, I've done my small change for the second day in a row, how will you respond to them? Like, yay, I'm proud of you. Good job. Keep going. Do you do that for yourself? I said this in the Q&A yesterday, but scripture says we're to love our neighbor as ourself. But most women I talk to actually need to love themselves as they love their neighbor, because it's gotten twisted to where they're kind and generous and supportive and encouraging of others, but then for themselves, they're never good enough and they could have done better and they could have tried harder and all of that kind of stuff. So grab a drink. So as you're watching, put down ideas of how you could celebrate. What would be celebrating to you? Can you text a friend that's going to, text you back and cheer for you? Can you give somebody a call? Can you just applaud for yourself? Can you just say out loud what you would say to a friend that shared that win with you? Start thinking of those ideas. And then other things to make it fun is, if there's a game you like to play or you like to color, or there's like, you don't have to wait for the end of like, get this 30 thing filled up to celebrate. If it's, you're making a change to do the laundry every day and you don't like to do the laundry, then when it's done, you get to do something you like to do to make it fun. Or you get to listen to something that you want to listen to while you do the thing you don't like to do to make it more fun. You do it with a friend, whatever, find something that makes it more fun. It'll be easier to do. So I think that's it. So your challenge for the week is to post what you're going to be doing about the things that are in your way. Or if you're like, this is in my way, I don't know what to do with this, like post that too. So if you need a new water bottle, post, I need to buy a new water bottle. And then you can post, hey, I bought my new water bottle. And, I needed to change this and that in my schedule or in my thinking. And I did. Or, oh, wow, I realized this is in my way and I hadn't seen that before. Now that we're actually going to make the changes, I would expect more stuff to come up than just thinking about making the changes. So share those things. And of course, encourage others. You can still invite your friends. They can catch up watching the weekly videos or just looking at what the challenges are. And you can join me live for the Q&A on Tuesday. But you need to be registered so that you get the email for that link. And I would love for you to do that just to be able to talk to you. So that'll be your challenge for the week. And then I think we're to prizes. Prayer, coaching, and training. That's just a slide I made is I bring those three things together in my coaching. We pray with Holy Spirit to find where the roots of things are and hear his voice to get the healing right where it's needed. Coach through how that's showing up in your life and how you want it to show up in your life, how you want the truth to show up. And then practical skills like this of how can so much actually go into a small change? Because we're stubborn creatures that live by habit. That's why. So combine all those things in my coaching and my programs. Different ways that you can engage with me in the small and significant coaching, which I'm giving away 3 months of. The Mess to Majesty group. was thinking I would do one this summer, but we'll see. I don't officially have it scheduled yet. If you're interested, let me know. That would obviously make a difference in my decision. The Emotionally Healthy Moms Club is a monthly membership where there is a brief teaching each month and a focus on one skill that you're practicing to increase your emotional health and your spiritual maturity. And there's 2 live calls a month in there that you can get on and get coaching, get encouragement. The Facebook community where you're at right now, or if you're watching on Facebook, come join the community where you can have that safe place to share and grow and cheer each other on. And then the Mom Mentor on YouTube are all places that you can find me. And now I think we're on to the prizes. So let me share my screen. Find it. Find my screen. Okay. If you do not see your name on there and think it should be on there, you can let me know. I'll hang on a minute and see if anybody's like, hey, I was engaged this week and I'm not on there. And I'll grab a drink. All right, I don't see anybody saying that they should be on there. So we're going to spin the wheel and see who wins today. Who wins this week? All right, it looks like Cindy Fishbach gets this week's prize. So Cindy, make sure that you message me. Oh, I couldn't see the list yet. I didn't wait long enough, I guess. Okay, well, it's random and Cindy won this week. So if I missed you this week, you can message me. I'll put you in twice next week. That's how I'll do it. So Cindy, message me your mailing address and I will send you a copy of Mist to Majesty. And it was stuck on my slide. Well, that's a bummer. It's a really cool little wheel spinner thing. I must have to turn that off. I don't know. Not getting my technology as well as I want, but hopefully the teaching and the value that you get makes up for my lack of technical quality. So anything else, any questions before I sign off for this week? And I'll put back, oh no, that's not the slide I want to put back. Hang on. Put the challenge back up so you can look at that. Silly technology. Yeah. Yeah, silly technology. And then just all those things of like, you should do it this way, or you should do that, or you need a better camera, or you need a microphone, or all of that stuff. And need pop-ups to not come up on my computer and distract me. All right. So I love you guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the group.